How I won my bat. I guess you're admiring my swing, right? And you're admiring the baseball bat I'm holding. Maybe you're wondering how I got this bat. There's a story behind it, that's for sure. I was the power hitter on my junior high's baseball team. Our team went to the state finals every year and I was the star. You could read about me in the local paper all the time. Michael Burns, he's got the power. Michael Burns wins it for Linfield. Again. That's me, Michael Burns, but now I wish I'd never even touched a baseball bat. Things are different now. I'm different. How much time has gone by since the afternoon that changed my life? I'm not sure, but I can remember everything that happened as if it were yesterday. Baseball practice, we had just finished doing our warm-up exercises on the field. Coach Manning called out, "Hey Mike, you're up at bat." At the games, I always batted cleanup. Fourth in the lineup. That made sense, I was the best, but this was only practice, and the coach liked to shuffle us around to keep us on our toes. I felt all my muscles go tight as I stepped up to the plate. You see, I had a problem. A big problem. I was in a real battling slump. The last game we played, I struck out 4 times, and the past few batting practices, Jimmy, the pitcher, would lob me the ball, and I'd choke, swinging with everything I had as if they were fastballs. Some power hitter, huh? I couldn't even connect. And everyone knew it. I was afraid my new nickname was going to be Swing and Miss Mike. "Come on, Mike," Coach Manning called as I took a few practice swings. "Concentrate now. You know tomorrow's game with Lakeland is for first place." "Yeah, Mike, don't mess up," Jimmy muttered from the pitcher's mound. I hunched over the plate. The bat just didn't feel right. It felt heavy, too heavy. "Relax," I told myself. "Just relax and everything will be fine." The pitch came high. I let it go. "Strike," Ron called from behind me. I turned to him. "Since when does the catcher make calls? Since when does the power hitter strike out every time?" he shot back. Well, that did it. No way could I relax after that crack. I tried to get my old swing back, but the bat felt even heavier, and I could see my teammates shaking their heads. After about 10 minutes of batting practice, where the best I could do was a little dribble right to the pitcher, the coach called in somebody else. "Listen, Mike," he said, putting his heavy arm around my shoulder, "why don't you go home and get some rest for tomorrow's game?" I thought he was being nice, but then he added in a sharp voice, "You better shape up, kid. This game is for all the marbles." I trudged off the field, lower than a grounder to third. "Hey, Mike, hold up a second." I recognized the guy jogging toward me. It was Tom Scott, a local TV reporter. School sports are a big deal in Linfield, but a TV reporter covering a practice? Wow. "You feeling okay, Mike?" he asked me. Are you doing anything to shake this slump?" "I'm trying," I mumbled, feeling my face turn red. Really, I hurried into the locker room, feeling really embarrassed. I showered and dressed in a hurry. I wanted to get out of there before the team finished practice. I knew I couldn't stand all the teasing I'd get. A few minutes later, I stepped back outside and started toward the bike rack. I had my eyes on the ground, and I was deep in my unhappy thoughts. "I'd give anything to get out of this slump," I muttered to myself. I didn't even see the strange-looking little man until I nearly tripped over him. "Oops, sorry," I muttered. He smiled at me. "I heard what you said. You just need a lighter bat," he said. "Huh." I squinted at him, startled. The man wore a heavy black wool suit. He had a tiny round head, completely bald. His skin was so pale he looked like a light bulb. Had this guy ever been outdoors? "What did you say?" I asked him. "You need a lighter bat," he repeated. His eyes were silvery. The grin grew wider. I saw for the first time that he held a baseball bat in one hand. He raised it so that I could see it better. It was shiny black wood. It had tape wrapped around the end. It looked as if it had been used before. "It's very light and very powerful," the man said. He let out a strange cackle, as if he had just told a joke. Who are you?" I stammered, staring at the bat. "I'm a sports fan," he said. With his free hand, he reached into his suit jacket pocket. He pulled out a business card and handed it to me. It read, "Mr. Smith, Director, Linfield Sports Museum." I handed the card back to him. I stared at the bat. "You want to sell me this bat?" He let out another cackle, shook his shiny bald head. "I'll give it to you, Mike." His strange silver eyes glowed excitedly. Had I told him my name? "It's a very good bat. You'll like it," he said. "Very powerful." The bat didn't look very special to me. "You want to give it to me?" He nodded. "Take it now. You just have to make one promise." I knew there had to be a catch. "What promise?" I asked. Clouds rolled over the sun. The air turned cold. I felt a chill at the back of my neck. "You have to promise you will return the bat to the museum right after the game. You will not change clothes. You will not go home first. You will return it to me at the museum. Understood?" He pushed the bat into my hands. He's crazy, I thought. Why am I taking this bat? Am I that desperate to get over my batting slump? Yes, my hands wrapped around the bat. It didn't feel any different from the bat I had used that afternoon. Then a chill passed through my body. Mr. Smith's ice-cold hand gripped my shoulder. Remember, he said, return the bat right after the game. I nodded and slung the bat over my shoulder. Then I made my way to my bike and pedaled away as quickly as I could. The next day was sunny and cool, a perfect day for baseball. The locker room was noisy before the game. All the guys were talking and laughing, but I was sitting quietly, trying to psych myself up. Hey, Mike, Jimmy called, tossing me a water bottle. We're behind you all the way. We're counting on you, man. Yeah, Ron gave me the thumbs up. We know you won't let us down. I felt so nervous. The water bottle nearly slipped out of my hand. I took a long swig of water. I can't strike out, I told myself. I won't strike out. And then it was time. We were up at bat. In the dugout, Coach Manning called everyone to gather around for the new batting order. I've made some changes. He began staring right at me. I knew what the coach meant, and so did everyone else. He was moving me from the cleanup spot. Ron will bat fourth, he said, and Mike will bat second. Second, I could deal with that. I'd be able to show everybody that much sooner that I was still a winner. Rick, the first guy at bat, hit a single. My turn at the plate. I can't watch this, I heard Jimmy groan to Ron. I picked up my new bat. All of a sudden, it felt really light, just as the strange little man had said. I carried it to home plate and took my stance. This is weird, I thought. The bat started to tingle. Suddenly, it felt tiny vibrations all the way to my toes. The pitch came, low and outside. Strike, called the umpire. I let the second pitch go, 2. Strike again. I had to swing at the next one, no matter what. The bat tingled and vibrated in my hands. The pitch was a fastball. I sucked in my breath and swung, trying to stay in control. Crack! The ball sailed high into the air. I shaded my eyes as I ran the first, but the ball flew so high I couldn't see it. Was it going over the fence for a home run? It was. It worked, I shouted gleefully. The bat worked. I jogged the second, my arms held high above my head in a victory sign. The third base coach was grinning, waving me along. My teammates charged over as I rounded third, cheering and thumping me on the back. Then I came home. Linfield 2 runs batted in for me. Next inning, I hit an even higher home run. 2 innings later, I came to bat twice and hit 2 more home runs. That's the way it went every time. I went to bat, I pounded out homer after homer. By the time I hit my 7th, the crowd was going ballistic. 7 home runs broke the school record, and when I hit my 9th, that broke the state record. The final score, Linfield 19, Lakeland 3, not shabby at all. Afterward, a crowd of people swarmed around me. Jimmy and Ron hoisted me on their shoulders, and Tom Scott, the TV guy, asked me questions while camera crews and photographers took pictures. Hey, Mike, Ron waved me over after everything settled down. We're all going to Pat's Pizza Place, to celebrate, so come on, man, you're the star. I hopped on my bike, lead the way. I cried so excited about the game, I thought I might burst. We rode off still in our uniforms. The whole team was chanting, Mike, Mike, Mike. It was a great feeling, but suddenly my heart sank. The bat, I had promised to return it right after the game. I had promised to deliver it back to Mr. Smith at the sports museum. I slowed down, letting the other guys pass me by. They were still chanting my name as they disappeared around the corner. Catch up with you later, I called. I don't know if they heard me or not, but I knew one thing for sure. I couldn't return the bat. No way. I had to keep it. It was the greatest bat in the world. The bat had hit 9 home runs in one game. I couldn't part with it. Promise or no promise, I had to keep it. Standing over my bike, I gripped the bat in my hands, trying to decide what to do. My first thought was to ride home and hide the bat in my room. Mr. Smith didn't know where I lived. Chances are he would never find me. No, I decided. That wasn't right. I decided to go to the museum to tell Mr. Smith the truth, that I had to have that bat. I'll offer to pay him for it, I decided. Any amount he wants, it's worth it. I remember the address from the business card. It took a long time to ride my bike there. The museum was in a strange part of town. Nobody on the streets, no cars, nothing. The museum was a low, gray building, not too inviting. I parked my bike beside the entrance carrying the bat. I stepped inside. What a cool place. I couldn't believe I'd never been there before. The enormous bright room was filled with life-size sports displays. 2 players elbowed each other fiercely in a hockey display. The figures were made of wax or something. I couldn't believe their scary expressions. I walked past a tennis display. A young man in tennis whites had his racket up, about to serve to another player. They looked so real, I expected to see the ball fly over the net. I passed 2 high school basketball players going up for a rebound. Their muscles were straining. I could actually see beads of sweat running down their faces. Cool, I thought, leaning on the bat as I studied the display. So cool. The baseball display was under construction. Part of a diamond had been built, but there were no wax figures playing ball. As I stared at the real-looking scene, Mr. Smith appeared from behind it. "Hello, Mike," he said, smiling. His bald head shone under the bright display lights. "Thanks for returning the bat." I hesitated. I can't return it," I stammered. Silver eyes narrowed in surprise. "What?" "I have to keep it," I told him. "It's the greatest bat in the world. I'll do anything to keep it, Mr. Smith," I pleaded. He rubbed his pale chin. "Well, really," I insisted. "I really need this bat. I want to keep it forever." "Okay," he agreed. "You can keep it forever." My mouth fell open. I stunned. "You mean I can keep it?" He nodded, smiling. "If that's what you want," he murmured. "Let me see your swing, Mike. Take a good swing, okay?" I was so happy and grateful. I lifted the bat, starting to show off my swing, and froze in a blinding flash of silver light. I've been standing here ever since, frozen in place, the bat gripped tightly in my hands, about to take my best swing. A lot of time has passed. I don't really know how much. I stared out at the cardboard backdrop, and I prepared to take my swing. People visit the sports museum. They come over to the baseball display, and they stare at me. They talk about how real I look and what a great swing I have. It makes me happy that they like my swing, and I guess I have one other thing to be happy about. I get to keep the bat forever.